Hey guys, I wanted to do a product review for you. This is a Harris swivel bipod that I've done some modifications to, some upgrades I guess if you will. And there's no real good reviews online, at least video reviews of this particular product or these products combined. 8451 Tactical does a great install video on how to install the Alamo 4-star DLOC onto a bipod, but they don't give you a really good review of the product itself, how it functions. I've had a chance to use this quite a bit actually. I took an elk with it on this exact rifle here last weekend, almost 300-yard shot. Shot a cow right in the ear hole using this bipod. And spent some time on the range with it, so I feel like I haven't had it long, couple weeks, but at least I can give you an idea, get you guys a good look at it, and tell you my thoughts, the good, the bad, the ugly, and kind of go from there. So let's start off with what exactly it is. So the DLOC is essentially this little knob here. Adjusts, there's a spring you can see in there, and that adjusts the tension on the pick rail here. I'm going to swap my hand so I can kind of show you what I'm talking about, but essentially it just gives you the ability to quickly detach this onto the rifle, and I'll show you how to do that. It's pretty simple to put on there, just like any of the Harris bipod mods that you do. Essentially you pull that nut out right there, and this knob comes off, the bolt comes out, and it literally just slides right over this piece in here. It's super easy. Like I said, 8451 Tactical's got a great install video on how to do that. Took me maybe 5 minutes, not even. And then also I did the hawkhill custom feet. And I have a love-hate relationship with these, and I'll explain that here in just a moment. I think they're definitely better than the traditional rubber feet, but we'll talk about that here in just a minute. So let's get it installed on the rifle, and we'll talk about that just a little bit here. So like I said, it goes on the rifle relatively quickly. I have this other mount on here. We'll pull that off and try to do it on camera here for you so you can see pretty much how it goes on. And it pretty much slides on just like the other one that I just took off does. It can be a little bit tricky. Loosen it up here a little bit. Make sure you get it lined up. I had it slide off a couple of times. It's not quite as slick as my other mount, but essentially just thumb tighten it up. Obviously it's got the knob back here, but let's get this set up so we can play with it a little bit. Alright, so you can kind of see how it attaches here. It's got a swivel mount right here down on the bottom so that you can attach your sling to it. And obviously this knob adjusts the tension for the swivel of the rifle. The one thing I don't like about it as compared to the normal Harris system is that the Harris has a spring on it that essentially makes contact with the bottom of the mounts here, and that keeps it from flopping like this one does. I mean, it flops. Obviously, I think you get a better range of motion with the Alamo 4-star, but it's definitely just something to think about and consider, is that your rifle will flop around. So if this is loose, and you've got your rifle on uneven terrain and it flops over, there's a good chance your rifle's going to tip over and crash, and obviously that's not a good thing for your scope or your optics. So that's one of the cons to it. Obviously it does directly mount onto a pick rail, which is, in my opinion, far better than the swivel mount, and it allows for other attachments. You guys look on my other video, this is the quick detach pick mount that I've got for my tripod that I use. But anyway, some more things that I think you should know about this. The knob is obviously very accessible under here, being under the rifle. The one thing I don't like is that it takes a lot of tension to really lock this thing down so it doesn't swivel. And even then, it still moves just a little bit. I mean, you can see right there how much it's moving, and I'm not applying a lot of tension. And I've got this thing pretty much snugged down as tight as you can with your hands. That's a little bit better. But see, there's still movement in it, and that movement is, make sure it's not coming from there. That movement is still coming from this barrel nut, if you will. There's just a little bit of play in there, and then also there is a little bit of movement in the feet here. You can see just, you know, in that first little notch, it's not quite making contact in there. But other than that, it's, you know, it's a great improvement on the Harris bipod. It blows me away that Harris doesn't actually make a quick detach mount already attached to their bipods. I think they would get rid of, or they'd sell a lot more of them. The knob, like I said, it's okay, but it's not great. It's nice that it gives you, it's got a lot of options, but even right now I'm just trying to loosen it, and I mean, it takes quite a bit of force to get that thing. It's just not smooth. I probably should put some grease in there, and maybe that would help smooth things up a little bit. It just, I don't know, it just feels rough to me, but I'm used to my tripod. You guys can see that in the other video. It's just that pan head is a lot, or that ball head is just a lot smoother. It locks down a lot nicer, and it's more consistent, you know. I mean, half as much pressure on that ball head on my tripod versus this, it just locks down a lot tighter. So this in action, it works great. I set up on a cow elk shooting across the canyon last Saturday, and it worked really well. I actually set this up on a rock. The feet dug in incredibly well. Was able to preload the rifle and kind of sit Indian style with the rock in front of me, and I got my left arm underneath my armpit and underneath the rifle in it, and it was, like I said, right in the ear hole at about 300 yards. So it works well. It's pretty light. It's not bad. I'll continue to use it. I'll probably use it a little bit on my competition gun, but I don't know that I'll use it much on my hunting gun, just because the tripod is that much better. But it is what it is. It's nice. You know, this entire setup with the hawk feet and the bipod and the Alamo 4 Star DLOC, it was running me about $250. So it's cheaper than going with the Atlas bipods by far, about $100 cheaper, and you know, it's still a great product. And so there you go, guys. If you have any questions about that, hit me up in the comments section. The one thing I do want to tell you, I said I have a love-hate relationship with the feet. What I like about them is they do stick really well on most surfaces. Today I was shooting off of a concrete bench that had a really sheen, flat concrete, almost like a garage floor, and they didn't dig in real well. But you know, that's to be expected. Nothing's going to dig in on that type of a surface. The one thing that does kind of bug me a little bit with the points is that you know, once you start to preload your bipod, if you're on a dirt surface, you're going to, you know, if you've set up this so that your scope level is level, and you start to preload, those points are going to dig down into the dirt, and you're going to find yourself unlevel again. And so I find myself like really fighting it back and forth to get my gun level, especially on a long range shot, which is vitally important. But it's not bad, you know. It just kind of depends on the dirt. If it's really soft, you know, it's going to sink up to these claws, and you should be fine anyway. But what I did notice shooting off kind of some hard dirt is when I started to preload the bipod, you know, one side or the other would start to dig in a little bit, and I would lose my level. But you know, it is what it is. They work great. I think they're definitely better, like I said, than the rubber feet. Obviously, you don't have that issue with the rubber feet, but they slide all over the place, so it's tit for tat. All right, guys. Again, if you have any questions, give me a holler, post it in the comments, and I'll be happy to help you out. I hope you enjoyed this video. It is a great product. I certainly recommend it. I'd like to try the LaRue mount just to see if it's any different or better, but hey, I'm just a normal guy like you guys. I can't afford to buy every single one on the market. I think I'll throw some grease in this one and try it and see if that makes it any better. Enjoy. Thanks.